Franklin Frank. I guess we're back at the same bat time, same bat channel. I'm sure that that's a joke that plenty of other streamers use. And we're going to be going right on through with this gelatinous noob ascension that I started last night. So as you can see here, I've done a little bit of preparation. First, I've changed my clan so that my clannies can't interrupt us in chat. I've also prepared a little bit of items for me to absorb to get my skills going a little bit faster, so hopefully this will go a little bit smoother this time around. And lo and behold, there's this little icon in the map, and whenever you see that, it means that the council has another quest for you. So let's go see what they want. Oh, by the way, it's Yuletide in the Kingdom of Loathing. So what Yuletide is basically you gather around the bonfire and you can collect marshmallows, and if you have marshmallows, then you can instead collect toasted marshmallows, which give you a pretty nice stat buff if you eat a lot of them. Nobody does that though, or at least nobody I know of. So I'm going to continue with the bat hole this time around, and then after that I think I'm going to progress a little bit through the Spooky Raven quest. So let's get started. Oh, by the way, one of the reasons that I like running hardcore ascensions like I'm running this time around is because it's really easy to just pick up and go in a hardcore ascension. You may have been able to tell yesterday or in the last stream that I haven't really planned all that much this time around. And that's something that you can definitely do in a hardcore ascension, where to be competitive at all or to have a significantly fast softcore ascension, you need to either have an explicit plan or you need to know what you're doing well enough that you can just go off of muscle memory. And I don't, so hardcore it is. It's also that I like not having to think this through so much, which is possibly why I had my ass kicked 3 times last night. So, continuing through the bats. Oh, that, can I? Yes, okay. So this is a window that only gets shown because I've got Mafia running, and the boss bat is one of the bosses that I can fight with a specific monster level provided by my detuned radio. And based on the monster level that I have selected, I can get a few specific rewards. If I've got it set to 4, instead of 10 or 8, then I'll get these items. The boss bat breeches are generally pretty nice, and the boss bat bling is not so much. The devs have planned for a while to, instead of making this a single reward to set up your detuned radio or whatever as high as you can make it and then get cumulative rewards, but they haven't done that yet. Apparently due to some kind of philosophical differences, I'm not really sure. But those items are going to be pretty useless to me in this run, so I'm just going to keep going with the maximum monster level so that I can get more stat gain.
Does this monster level mechanic predate the bonfire aesthetic mechanic in Dark Souls? Or was it perhaps inspired by that? Or
I don't know when they introduced the monster level mechanic. When did the first Dark Souls come out?
Good question. I'll check on that.
I would guess that it did.
There's Demon Souls, but I don't know if they have the bonfire. I haven't played it.
Pretty sure that the devs for KOL did not play Demon Souls until sometime in the last 2 years.
Let's see. The first Dark Souls is 2011, so...
Okay, yeah, definitely predates. It was around definitely by the time that I started playing And it's not really similar. Like I can see where you're getting the comparison that you're making the monsters harder for an increased reward, but um, for one thing, you can set it variably depending on what resources you have access to, um, and for another, you don't have like you could conceivably be running monster level from your first playthrough rather than having to wait through at least one ascension. This area that I am adventuring through right now, the reason that I wanted to put it off until today is because today it's easy for me to get elemental resistance, which, if you can see here, I have to search through a number of drawers in the kitchen, and the higher my heat and stench resistance, the more drawers I can search through with a single adventure. And I believe that there is a max of 4 drawers searched per adventure, and then once you have searched 21 drawers, then you will get a key that will let you into the billiards room.
And the 6 of 21 in the parenthetical, that's generated by Mafia, or is that in the game?
That is generated by Mafia.
Okay. Yeah, that doesn't seem like something they'd let you know.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of things in this game are not made transparent, but Mafia makes them transparent, and that's one of the most important things that it does.
Maybe less important on your first run to use it, but after you've done it 200 times like you have, it's super helpful.
Yeah, if you're running through this the first time, then like the adventure cost for progress doesn't really matter. Like the what you're playing the game for is not to play through the game as fast as possible. It's to read all the stuff and like really explore, start to learn the mechanics and see what all KOL has to offer, and the things that it offers um, are very much not based on the mechanics as much. And so you can tell, like, hey, I'm doing this slightly more efficiently now. I wonder what changed. Um, but that's very much a side concern. Oh wait, shoot! I already got that. Yeah, there's the billiards key. Sweet. So going into the billiards room. This is any time that I get this kind of interrupt here, that's something that's been generated by Mafia. Now, I've ordinarily, as a gelatinous noob, I would have 0 pool skill. Pool skill is generated by a few items and also by a non-combat. And if you go through that non-combat, it's a semi-rare adventure. If you go through it enough and choose the correct option often enough, then you can provide a certain base pool skill to your character. And I've done that repeatedly. And so I have 10 pool skill. It's not linear, like per semi-rare. You can't just get 1 pool skill per semi-rare. I think that it's like quadratic, maybe. So ordinarily I would have 0 pool skill, but I've gone through that semi-rare adventure and boosted my pool skill enough that I have 10 base. And so what this is going to be important for is that I need to use these handfuls of hand chalk, which, in addition to providing an effect that boosts my weapon damage and makes it so that I never have a critical miss, have a fumble, it also adds 3 pool skill. So I'll be using that at the end of this fight. Oh shoot, okay. Forgot that these wraiths always only take elemental damage. So there isn't really a convenient source of elemental damage that I can go through right now. So I'm just going to use the stink bugs on them.
How many uses of stink bugs do you get?
You get as many as you have adventures for. However, it does get weaker the more you use it. So the early times I can consistently get 8 to 10 base damage, and that's being doubled to 20 because stench damage is effective against spooky damage. But if I were to use it every single combat, then by the end of it I would be getting, I don't know, 2 or 3 base damage per round. And that's per source, both normal and stench damage. So I think I'm going to start using this hand shock now, because I think that I'm in range to start meeting up with the... Oh, that was actually kind of a waste to meet up with this ghost here. And so, as I haven't... I should do a little bit more research on this. This improved pool skill option, I believe that it only ever gives you 1 pool skill. Hustling the ghost, I think, also gives you 1 pool skill, but you also have a chance to beat the ghost. So, I didn't win it this time. Apparently, my pool skill is 14, and I need at least 14 to be able to have a chance, and it's guaranteed at 18 pool skill, but it'll be a couple of tries before I get up to 18. Oh yeah, stink bug. No, okay. Good, I remember to keep the chalk up. This most potions that you find in the game will give you 10 adventures of the effect that they give. The chalk only gives 5, and it's easy to forget when it's going to run out. So, third try, got the key. And now onto the Haunted Library. And in this zone, the non-combats don't matter. What matters are these writing tasks. And once I beat 5 of them, then I'll be able to progress the Spooky Raven quest. There's apparently a strategy where you can use the Chateau Montaigne painting to encounter the desks early on without having to go through those first 2 zones. Potentially saves a heck of a lot of turns, but I like going through the Spooky Raven. So now this Lights Out adventure actually occurs on the modulo 37, your modulo 37th absolute turn, not the 30, like any multiple of 37 turns in your specific run. It's multiple of 37 turns based on your total turns spent. And it's an adventure that creates a inter-zone quest that's shared across the entirety of Spooky Manor. There's actually 2 quests going on leading up to fighting 2 of the children's Spooky Raven. And I am not going to be doing that this time around, so we're just going to ignore that for now. But the rewards are pretty good, so you should figure out how to solve those puzzles and do them at least once with any given character. Alright, so I got the Lady Spooky Raven's necklace. This has got a pretty good item description. This is Luscious Rebecca's, or Lady Spooky Raven's necklace. You know, the one her faithful husband who totally loved her and her alone got her as a gift before they all died. And yeah, it's good. And so we turned this necklace into Lady Spooky Raven, who had been hanging out right about here. And that unlocks the ability to go up these stairs. And then I can go for a second quest, which I do want to go through all of this, but I've got to start absorbing items because I'm almost out of turns. Alright, so what was the thing that I got earlier? Fermenting powder. Yay, sense of entitlement, I can get more meat. Let's see here. What else should I be getting? Now, part of the reason that I want to go through this quest here is because one of the items that I can get in the Spooky Raven Haunted Ballroom is going to give me a skill that gives me plus 50% item drops, and that is a heck of a help.
Sounds like it.
Mm-hmm. Let's
So
see.
what's the item that you're going for?
It's the Ballroom Blintz. There I am. Nice Naz. And I've got a script in KO Mafia that organizes my skills by what kind of bonus they give me. So... let's see, is there... ooh, yes. So the item that I just bought is going to give me a pretty significant boost to my Moxie, and that's going to make my survivability go pretty high up. I think that I also want to be boosting my my HP, although that might not be able to happen for a while. Yeah. Oh no, I can probably get that. And then meat items and pickpocket chance are going to be the other important ones. Alright, so I've just used the maximizer in Mafia to absorb 5 items, which will boost my item drop and pickpocket chance. I'm also going to absorb that tenderizing hammer for a bonus of 25 Moxie. And let's keep on going. Now, I'd like to re-emphasize that I'm not interacting with a lot of systems right now that I would normally be maximizing and taking all kinds of time to get right. But because I don't have the ability to cast non-combat spells and buff myself in that way, there's just no reason to bother with it.
In some ways, would you say the gelatinous new brown is easier than others?
It's definitely cognitively easier. It's more difficult to be fast relative to a standard run. But it's a lot easier to just sit and do because all of your skills are passive, so they're either always on or they're not available.
Right.
Yeah.
Less things to take into account.
Mm-hmm. So in these 3 areas, what I'm doing is collecting items for her to go dancing in the ballroom, and then after that there will be a follow-up quest that I'm not going to do because it's optional in the context of a run. Ooh, that adventure. Can I go back? Nope. Alright. Maybe over here. No! Alright, fine. That last adventure where I gained the 75 muscle substats is a demon names adventure, and if I encounter that while I have Lord Spooky Raven's hearing horn, then I will be able to note down the name of a demon that I can then try to summon in the Spooky Raven's cellar, which would give me some kind of special buff. I can't remember which one that is. But there are a number of buffs, and some of them have come from limited time events, and so you had to either be there or you don't have the ability to get those demon names. So you get like a boost to your meat drops or to your attributes, or perhaps you would get bonus to stench damage or hot damage and HP regen or something like that. These 3 potions here that I just dropped, and a potion is a class of item, it's not necessarily themed potionly. These items will give a boost to a stat and also to substats gained within that stat, as well as possibly, something that's related to that stat. So the old bronzer, for example, is a little antique ceramic pot of makeup designed to simulate a suntan. The drawing of a sun on the label is designed to simulate a sun. And the effect that gives is 25 adventures worth of sepia tan, which, when you have that effect, you have the stylish suntan of a bygone era. It gives you 10 moxie, 20% combat initiative, and 2 moxie stats per fight. I don't really tend to use these very much because I'm not optimal, except that I will save my off stats for the Naughty Sorceress quest when they will be useful. So the next thing here is into the bedroom, where you fight an endless series of animated nightstands. And this rustic nightstand, once you've killed the nightstands, then they give you a free non-combat where you have a bonus of some sort. And with this rustic nightstand, I can boost my moxie stats, and that's pretty nice. This ornate nightstand gives me is actually really, really helpful for a couple of quests that I'm going to be going through. And so it's something where I want to actually encounter 2 of these in addition to the elegant nightstand that I will be adventuring for later. Or that is the straight up goal of this area. But these are randomly generated, so it might take me a few extra adventures to find a second ornate nightstand. Getting a lot of these rustic nightstands this time around.
Now, was it the boomerang or something that you could use that would guarantee you encounter the same monster again?
That's one of the items, but I absorbed that so that I could get extra adventures per absorption.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. Yay, second ornate nightstand. If I were adventuring with all of my skills and such on my base character, then there's ways to manipulate the combat queue to make a certain monster more likely to encounter. And here's that animated nightstand. And now I've got all the things for Lady Spooky Raven. And so once I've completed that quest, the first adventure in the Haunted Ballroom, is to dance with Lady Spooky Raven, and I get some sweet stats. Helps out. I want to keep adventuring in here until I get that ballroom blitz, which hopefully won't be too far out. Yay, these zombie waltzers are the ones that will potentially drop the ballroom blitz. Please. Yes! Happy days are here again. Oh wait, that's a food. Cool, that gives me 40% item drops, I believe. Or is it more than that? It is 50% item drops. So, yeah. Now, weirdly enough, there is an option there is a store that generally I don't interact with at all, that is very, very helpful with this kind of run, and that is the gift shop, which is located in the border town area of the desert beach. And a lot of these items, if you absorb them, they grant very useful skills, including this blue velvet cake, which will give me an additional 40% item drops. Although the items in there tend to be pretty expensive, and also you have to have had, I believe, up to 37 ascensions to unlock all of them. So if you're creating a new character, you won't see most of the items in the gift shop until you've run through the game quite a few times. Absolutely terrible, really bad brandy, so I'm glad that I've got ice in it so it dilutes it a little bit. Alrighty.
Drinking very strong Cuban rum, which is taking a very long time.
Mm-hmm. Alright, I am, right now off screen here, I am cheating from my deck of every card again. I'm getting another of the tower keys. I'm going to also get some more mining ores. And I'm also going to get sheep's wool, stone wool, because that will be helpful in the level 11 quest. Alright, so those things are done. And then I guess it's time to get back on the quest train. Although, can I go to the desert beach yet? Nope. Alright. Now, I have set up a lot of chat and combat macros that will help me speed things up a little bit. One of those was for me /meat car, which buys a spring, buys a sprocket, buys a cog, buys an empty meat tank, buys some tires, buys some sweet rims, makes a meat stack, and then pastes all those things together into a Bishan meat car. And that allows me access to the desert beach. And then here at the shore, I can take a few vacations that will give me access to the the mysterious island of mystery, where I can encounter the frats and the hippies. And I might as well do that right now. It takes 3 adventures per vacation, which is kind of steep, and one of the rare places where multiple adventures are required per click. And what this gets me is this Shoring ship trip script. And then if I go to the gift shop, then I can get the UV resistant compass, which will also be handy in the level 11 quest, and the dinghy plans, which with the dingy planks make a Dingy Dingy, which allows me access to the mysterious island of mystery. Yeah. And I'm going to, even though this would potentially be helpful, I'm going to put off actually adventuring in the mysterious island of mystery until I am level 9, where that will potentially speed up the acquisition of the hippie outfit, which would allow me to buy unlimited fruits and olives. Let's actually go to the crypt first. Okay, so I don't have any combat Q manipulation abilities right now, so I'm just going to go through the niche and use that to farm up experience and make myself stronger for the other fights. And ordinarily I would be using Transcendent Olfaction to smell this dirty old lick and therefore encounter it quite a bit more often. But I don't have that access to that right now, so that isn't, yeah. And the reason that I would be able to, that I would want to do that is because in the Defiled Crypt, I have this evilometer to where what my goal is to reduce the evil in the crypt to 0 in every area, whereupon I will be able to fight the Boner Dagon. And the other licks in this area only fighting them only reduces the evil by 1 unit, where fighting these dirty old licks reduces that by 3 units. And so if you encounter nothing but dirty old licks, then you can clear the area in 9 adventures plus the boss. 10 adventures. So the Slick Lick and... what's the other one? Daniel, what's the other one? Senile Lick.
Yeah, I definitely don't remember those.
Oh, and this is the thing. Every day you have a 1 in 50 chance to encounter one of these messages up here, and these are alternately expressions of gratitude for donating $10 within the past month, or requests to do so. And you can only see these once per day, and it's basically what they've settled on to try and drive up donations. It's relatively unobtrusive. It's not going to last the whole fight. There, it's already gone, and I'm not going to see it again. What we just saw was a puzzle that basically, if you solve the puzzle, it is a thank you. And they really do like their puzzles in this game. And so the Gargantulic is the boss of the area. Now, in this Defiled Alcove, I think that I do actually want to try and beef myself up a little bit for it. So let's see if I can. Ooh, do I have an 8-ball? Yes, I have an 8-ball. So in the Defiled Alcove, I believe that your initiative divided by 300 provides a % chance to encounter a fast zombie rather than a normal zombie. And the fast zombies will tick down the alcove's evilness by 5 instead of just 1. So, where's that 8-ball? There it is.
I don't remember seeing that detector thing when I visited this place before.
The detector is only alongside the actual crypt because I have Mafia, If you're not running Mafia, then you will have the detector, but you'll have to click on it to see what your progress is.
It's amazing how powerful that program is and how much time the developers must have spent on it.
Oh man, the developers release updates sometimes multiple times per day. They are very, very active with keeping this up to the state of the game.
It's secretly Jake.
I don't think so, but that would be pretty cool. I might actually put that off a little bit, depending. Oh, do I have a dance card? No, probably not. Yeah. Okay. So I am actually going to put the alcove off a little bit and do the nook first because I've already maximized my ability to do the nook. And here we find spiny and toothy skeletons. And these skeletons sometimes will drop an evil eye, and they themselves only will reduce the evil by 1. But if you stomp down these evil eyes, then that reduces the ambient evil by 3. And so you want to boost your item drops for this area. Toothy skeletons drop loose teeth and also skeleton bones. And so I can make myself a skeleton key, which is something that I'll want to absorb.
Ambient Evil sounds like it could be its own video game.
Yeah, or a band. These spiked femurs are not a bad piece of equipment. If you're new, you'll probably want to equip it. It's almost certainly a boost to damage, and it also adds some spooky damage, which can be helpful. I saw I missed an evil eye there, so I'm going to use that in chat. Primarily play this game through chat. Chat and clicks. Alright, so that was the giant skeleton. Is the next part. Speaking of, I want to explain why this is the crypt instead of the crypt. It takes place in the misspelled cemetery, which opens up to the unquiet garves and the crypt and some really old tombstones. And the tombstones here have some randomly generated epitaphs, which can be pretty funny. Like them a lot. So, continuing here. Did I make myself a skeleton key? I did, okay. Skeleton key is not there. Skeleton key is in miscellaneous items. There we are. Alright, back to the crypt. Oh, I have absorbed as much equipment as I can absorb. There was no reason to put that off. Corpulent Zobme, the Grave Rover's Mobby, and the Modern's Mobby. And the Conjoined Smobby is the boss of the area. Alright, I've just remembered that I wanted to go over to the mysterious island of mystery, so I'm going to go do that. And fight some hippies. Filthy hippie chefs. Boy, does it take me a long time to... Ordinarily, I'd be using a yellow ray here, but I don't have access to a yellow ray. That's not actually true. I do have access to a yellow ray, but I want to be using it later instead of now. And
What does that do?
A yellow ray forces all non-conditional drops to drop. And so you can see here, this is a 3% chance of dropping, which gets increased multiplicatively by my item drop, which is currently plus 200%. So currently I have it, instead of a 3% chance of this dropping, I've got 9% chance of the filthy knitted red sack dropping, which is quite low. Maybe I need to go talk to the council. Okay, I got the corduroys. Just those, though. Yeah, I'm not going to actually be able to use the semi-rares this time around, so it's best not to plan around them. Seriously? The reason that I've put this off to level 9 is that supposedly after level 9 I can encounter a non-combat that will just give me whatever equipment I don't have. Or the filthy knitted dreaded sack or the filthy corduroys. And so now I've got the filthy knitted dread sack. I can equip that as an outfit, and that will let me into the hippie store, which would not previously sell me anything. So now I can buy myself some herbs and some fruit and an olive. But it has relatively low equipment power, so I'm going to go equip the lick face instead. And let's see here, what else? The ninja hot pants, I think. Yeah. So back to the curved. Oh, and also the council gave me a strange letter, which when you use it puts you into a actually, why don't I just use it? It puts you into an adventure game. So use strange letter. Let's just use what? I don't have strange. Where's my strange? Strange leaflet. So yeah, adventure game here. And there are some benefits to going through the adventure game. There's a familiar that you can get in here. There's also a piece of equipment and a skill, and most importantly for me, you get if you enter a specific, I don't know, adventure game reference, then you'll get some stats. And I'm going to have Mafia do all of that for me because I don't care to remember all of those things. So, back to the Kerpt here and the Defiled Cranny, which has ghouls. Gluttonous ghouls. Also, Gaunt ghouls. And ordinarily here, what I would be boosting instead of initiative or item drops or just Q manipulation, what I'd be boosting here is non-combat adventures and monster level. And the reason for that is, as I will show you if I ever get one of these non-combat adventures. Oh, I'm out of adventures. Okay, and I've got all of my absorptions for today, so that means that I'm just out of turns for today. The non-combat in that area puts you to a fight with a swarm of tiny ghouls, and the swarm is larger the more monster level you have pumped, and so it will reduce the ambient evil by the square root of your total monster level, including the detuned radio here, with a minimum, I believe, of 3. So I would generally reduce the ambient evil here by either 3 or 4. And so I'd be doing it pretty suboptimally, but there isn't really that much in the way of monster level sources around here. So that went much faster because I think there were fewer decisions for me to make. And that's all that I have to show you for tonight.
Cool. How many more days do you think it'll take to do a run?
I'm not really that sure. Ordinarily, about where I got now is where I would be getting in a regular hardcore run on day 1. Maybe a little bit further. So I want to say if I can manage to keep going along how I have been going, it's probably going to be 7 or maybe 8 days to finish the run off. And I will be having more adventures per day once I've got a few more levels in, so that I can have more absorptions and stuff. And also once I've got the suite of core Ascension skills down, I'll probably start absorbing things for adventures rather than for acquiring new skills. But yeah, I would guess 7 or 8 days probably for this run.
What's permable from this run? Anything?
There isn't anything that's permable from this run specifically, but when I go into when I go into Valhalla, I will have all of the skills that I had softcore perms available to perm. I can probably show you this. There are some skills here that you can perm from where'd they go? From challenge paths. There's the Belch the Rainbow, which was from the Heavy Rains challenge path, and if you were doing Heavy Rains runs while they were still in season, while they were the active challenge path, you would get a piece of a rainbow. I can't remember what the item name is, and that would give you this skill, Belch the Rainbow. And if you consume 11 of those items, then what this skill gives you is a combat skill that will deal 5 times 11 damage for 5 MP, and that's 11 prismatic damage, and that's how much damage you deal is going to be X prismatic damage with a maximum of 11, where X is equal to how many of those rainbow things that you've consumed. This Master of the Surprising Fist was from the Kung Fu Hustler challenge path, or the Way of the Surprising Fist, where you could adventure through, and you had the restriction where you would be gaining only minimal meat and you could not equip any weapons. Mild Curse was from the path of Actually Ed the Undying, which picks up where this run leaves off and puts you in the shoes of Ed the Undying, who is a fan favorite boss from the end of the level 11 quest. And you catch up with the adventurer who stole the Holy MacGuffin from you, and you get it back from them. Request Sandwich was from the path of Avatar of Boris, and it's based on the skill Demand Sandwich from Boris, which was also a fan favorite. So this path, there's only 4 paths that have given you permeable skills, and this path is not one of them. It's a relatively rare thing, although I wish it were more common because I think that's a cool way to expand content. But they're very busy with West of Loathing right now, so I'm not surprised that there isn't a seasonal challenge path reward for this one.
Have you heard any word on like how West of Loathing's going to compare to Kingdom of Loathing? Is it going to be a very similar setup but with a different theme, or
it's
a totally different kind of thing?
How they've been describing it is the Wild West meets Skyrim. There have been a number of previews around. There's still going to be turn-based combat, but you are going to be physically walking around in a KOL type world. And you will be playing as a cowpuncher, a bean slinger, or a snake oiler. And doing a whole bunch of weird cultish cowboy things. And I do mean cults. Apparently cows are always chaotic evil in this world, and so you can summon these spectral cows, and there's all kinds of evil cows around.
Well, Wild West meets Skyrim to me just sounds like Red Dead Redemption.
Having not played that game, I can take your word for it.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's an open world game. I guess technically Red Dead Redemption, at least the modern version of it, is kind of like Grand Theft Auto meets Wild West, sort of. But it's got more RPG type elements to it as well. Really fun game, actually. Red Dead Redemption is really good.
Yeah, I don't think that you're going to be stealing people's horses in West of Loathing, although you may be taking horses. I know that the horse that you take with you with your run will have very significant effect on the kinds of interactions you can have, including a horse and a partner, I believe, a combination of horse and partner that will allow you to go through the game without 100% non-lethally. I think the horse allows you to run away from fights, and the partner maybe opens up some additional dialogue with some people.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Going a Deus Ex route there.
Apparently it's very important to Jick that they have a 100% non-lethal option for you to complete the game with. And it maybe will require you to go out of your way, but it'll be there.
Sounds interesting. I think it's going to be like a 2D game that you move around in?
Yes. It's not going to be 2D like Mario is 2D. It'll be 2D like Mario All-Stars.
I haven't played that. Like Zelda?
Yeah, like Zelda, but more with a slightly more zoomed in perspective from Diablo 2. Like it's that kind of bird's eye sort of thing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I still haven't played Word Realms, but it does look quite fun.
Apparently there's a better version of it. Oh, I just saw the chat. I should be paying more attention to that. Yeah, Word Realms was a game that Jick was very much not happy with, particularly because there were some aspects of development that an intern totally screwed them with. And then they got an opportunity, some educational company hired them to do it over again and to get a whole bunch of to do it over again and fix all of the issues that he had with it. And that is called Master Swords. It's available on iOS for some kind of subscription model, I believe, with in-app purchases. And the gameplay there is you're making words, and based on how many letters you have and a number of gameplay mechanics with those words, you'll be doing more and more damage to your opponents. I haven't played it myself, but I would like to. I enjoyed Word Realms a lot. Um, However, this time around, Jick is very, very happy with how West of Loathing is coming out, and it's gotten a lot, or at least the KOL team has shared a lot of positive press that it has gotten from the different gaming conventions that they've gone to show it, like PAX and all of that, GDC.
Hmm. Well, maybe we'll have to play that on stream when it comes out.
That would be fun. Yeah. Find some way to. I think it'll definitely be released on Steam and iOS. I'm not sure if there will be other platforms for that or not. But yeah, that would be, I think, a good thing to do. I think that each playthrough is going to be on the order of 4 or 5 hours for that, and then depending on different things that or different partners and different horses that you choose, there may be more or different quest lines that become available to you. So I think that there's going to be a fair amount of replay value that's burned into there, especially because of you want to figure out what it's like to play as a cow puncher versus a bean slinger versus a snake oiler.
Sounds cool.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds right there.
Yeah. I think it'll be a lot of fun. And I'll get to enjoy more KOL writing, which I'm not, or more asymmetric writing, which I'm not enjoying as much this time around because I've read it all already. But they're really funny guys, and every time that they put out some new content, I laugh harder and harder. They've definitely come into their own, and I'm sure that the writing in West of Loathing is going to be quite good as well. So, I think that has been Midnights of Loathing. Thanks everybody for joining us. I hope that this has been instructive and that I haven't made too much a fool of myself. And I think we'll probably see you tomorrow night at midnight. Join us then.